Have you ever stared at the ceiling at 2 a.m., asking yourself if this, whatever this is really living? You wake up, scroll your phone, chase deadlines, eat, sleep, repeat. Somewhere between Monday and forever, you stopped feeling alive. Maybe you tell yourself, I'll start when things calm down. But they never do. Life doesn't pause for you to get ready. It moves like a train leaving the station, and the longer you wait, the smaller it becomes in the distance. What if the reason you feel lost isn't because you took the wrong path, but because you never took one at all? What if clarity doesn't come from thinking, but from moving? Try something new. Say yes to something uncertain. Every unfamiliar step is a mirror reflecting who you really are. We grow by doing, not by planning. People wait for the perfect moment, the perfect version of themselves, but perfection is just fear in disguise. Life favors those who move, stumble, learn, and rise again. The only right direction is forward. So maybe today is the day you stop waiting for permission, the day you stop asking if you're ready, because you are more than you think. Even the smallest action taken today will echo louder than years of hesitation. If this story stirs something in you, don't just scroll past it and forget. Pause. Take a breath. Subscribe, not for algorithms or content, but as a promise to yourself that every week you'll live a little more courageously. Life is not about grand plans or perfect timing. It's about messy tries, awkward beginnings, and the quiet bravery of showing up again and again. So, what will you do today, now that you know life isn't waiting? You've been told your whole life to find your purpose. But what if purpose isn't something you find? It's something you build, piece by piece, from the things you try. You can't think your way into meaning. You have to live your way there. Some people wait for a perfect sign, a calling, a mentor, a meant to be. But the truth is, most of us stumble our way forward. Every mistake, every awkward first try is a brushstroke on the painting of your life. Even chaos leaves patterns if you stay long enough to see them. Don't overthink which path to take. Just start walking. Travel somewhere new, even if it's just your own city seen differently. Talk to a stranger who scares you a little. Learn something useless but beautiful, because experience is the only real teacher that never lies. Topper 20. You will not find clarity by sitting still. Life reveals itself when you participate in it, when your shoes are dusty and your heart is racing. The more you move, the more the world starts whispering back. This is who you are. Maybe the question isn't, what should I do with my life, but what can I do today that makes me feel alive? The answers you're chasing hide inside those small, almost invisible moments of joy. The laughter with friends, the risk that didn't go as planned, the walk you took instead of scrolling again. There's beauty in being lost, because only the lost can discover something new. Let your curiosity lead instead of your fear. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to keep showing up for the adventure. So go collect moments, not answers. Go fail at something new. Go be a beginner again. Because every time you step outside the circle of comfort, you expand the borders of who you are. And one day, without even noticing, you'll realize you've already become the person you were searching for. You don't need a map. You just need movement. Let your life be a collection of stories, each one proving that you didn't wait for meaning. You created it. We live in a world obsessed with formulas. Wake up at 5 a.m. Follow your passion. Never give up. They sound powerful until they don't, because what worked for someone else might completely break you. The danger of universal advice is that it sells comfort, not truth. It gives you a sense of direction, but not a sense of yourself. You start comparing your chapter 1 to someone's highlight reel, and suddenly your own story feels too small to matter. Maybe follow your dream isn't the only path. Maybe Get really good at something useful is just as noble. There's pride in mastery, even when it's quiet. There's joy in contribution, even when no one claps. Success doesn't always look like freedom. Sometimes it looks like discipline. Chapters. Ask yourself, not, what do I love, but what do I keep coming back to? The answer hides in repetition, in the tasks you lose time doing, in the things that drain you but feel worth it afterward. Purpose isn't lightning, it's friction turned into light. You don't have to burn for every dream. Some fires are steady, some flicker, some die, and that's okay. The world doesn't need a million identical passions. It needs millions of people doing different things with quiet excellence. It's easy to idolize the ones who never gave up. But sometimes, wisdom is knowing when to walk away. Quitting isn't always surrender. It can be strategy. Growth often means closing one door so you can open one that actually fits your hands. So when someone tells you how to live, thank them, smile, and then listen to your own silence. Because only you know how your heartbeat sounds when it finally matches your choices. There's no single recipe for meaning. You have to cook your own version, fail a few times, and taste your life as it becomes yours. The truth is, there's no formula. There's only awareness, courage, and the willingness to begin again. And if you can keep doing that, you'll never need a rule book for happiness. Lynn was 27 when she quit her finance job. Everyone said she was crazy. She had a good salary, a stable future, and a LinkedIn page that looked like success. But her heart whispered, "You're living someone else's dream." So she bought a second-hand camera and disappeared for a while. At first, it was chaos. She couldn't frame properly, her photos were blurry, and her savings disappeared faster than hope. Some days she wondered if the universe was laughing at her. But every time she held that camera, something inside her finally felt awake. She took photos of street vendors, foggy mornings, children playing in the rain, ordinary things that felt sacred. Still, nothing she captured ever felt good enough. Her folder of deleted shots grew bigger than her portfolio. 300 failed photos later, she almost gave up. Then, one evening, her mother asked her to take a photo in the garden. Nothing special, just a casual smile, the light hitting her face softly through the trees. When Lynn looked at that picture, she cried without knowing why. It wasn't the best photo she'd ever taken, but it was honest. That moment changed everything. She realized photography wasn't about perfection. It was about attention. It was about seeing the world as if it were about to vanish. Every click became a small act of gratitude, a way to tell life, "I noticed you." Years later, people began paying for her photos. She built a career, not from chasing fame, but from following wonder. Her dream didn't take her far from home. It brought her back to it. Because sometimes you have to lose your plan to find your peace. We all have a version of Lynn inside us, the part that wants to start over, the voice that says, "What if I try?" Maybe your version doesn't hold a camera. Maybe it writes, cooks, or simply learns to breathe again. Whatever it is, listen to it. That voice is the compass that never lies. Dreams don't always lead to new worlds. Sometimes they lead you back to where you belong, to the people, the moments, and the quiet truths you'd forgotten to notice. And when they do, you'll finally see that every wrong turn was just a different way home. Some people believe life is a race, as if there's a secret deadline to happiness. Married by 30, successful by 35, peaceful by 40. But no one ever tells you where these numbers come from, or what happens if you miss them. The truth is, no one is behind schedule. You are not late. You are simply in progress. Every soul blooms at its own pace. Some flowers open with the sunrise, others wait for the moon. And both are beautiful. Chapter 20. At 25, you may feel lost. At 45, you might start over. At 60, you may fall in love again. Life doesn't care about the calendar. It only cares that you keep showing up. Because the only time we truly fail is when we stop trying to begin. We love to measure ourselves with milestones, but milestones are just moments, not verdicts. Changing paths doesn't erase what came before. It refines it. Every detour adds texture. Every restart adds strength. You're not erasing your story. You're rewriting it in real time. Maybe your career isn't what you dreamed, but you've learned compassion from failure. Maybe your relationship ended, but you've discovered what love really means. Every loss carves space for a truer version of you to emerge. Growth isn't linear. It spirals upward, quietly, patiently. And yes, it's okay to rest. Rest is not quitting. It's the inhale before the next chapter. Even when everything seems paused, your soul is still rearranging itself, preparing for what's next. So breathe. You're still becoming. Fiver, the next time you see someone ahead, remember, you're not in the same race. You're walking different paths toward different versions of peace. Comparison is the thief of presence. Don't let it rob you of your own timing. So keep moving, even if slowly. Crawl if you must, pause when you need, but don't stop entirely. Because as long as you keep moving, you are never late. You're exactly where life meant you to be, becoming the person you were always meant to become. There's a drawing that lives on the internet. Step 1, draw 2 circles. Step 2, now draw the rest of the owl. It's a joke about how people oversimplify complex things. But life is exactly like that. Everyone wants the shortcut, yet no one tells you about the long, quiet middle. There is no 2-step guide to a good life. It's not a formula, it's a craft, and crafts take years. Still, there are 2 small things that matter more than most advice. Floss your teeth and wear sunscreen. Sounds simple, right? But what they really mean is, take care of the person you'll be 30 years from now. 7. The future version of you is watching from a distance. They're hoping you sleep enough, save a little, choose kindness more often than anger. They're not asking for perfection, just consistency. Because the habits you repeat quietly build the life you'll someday inherit. Big transformations don't start with fireworks. They start with something as tiny as choosing water over soda, a walk over another scroll, writing 1 page instead of none. The little things don't look heroic, but they are. They're proof that you believe your future is worth showing up for. And here's another small thing. Write your living memoir, not the polished kind for readers, but a secret document where you record the moments that made you feel alive. A random Tuesday sunset, a stranger's kindness, the song you cried to and healed from. It's not about remembering, it's about witnessing your own life. Because one day, you'll read it back and realize how far you've quietly come, how many storms you've survived without applause, how much beauty you created from ordinary days. You'll see that your story didn't need to be spectacular. It just needed to be yours. Number 5. So yes, draw your owl, but don't rush the feathers. Build your life slowly, like art, stroke by stroke, habit by habit. And when the years pass, you'll look at the masterpiece forming and realize it wasn't magic. It was you, showing up again and again. One day, you'll sit in silence and realize that the moments you thought were ordinary were actually the ones that built your life. The morning coffee, the conversation you almost skipped, the small acts of care no one ever noticed. That's where meaning hides, quietly, faithfully. Regret doesn't come from choosing wrong. It comes from not choosing at all. From waiting too long to speak, to love, to begin. You can rewrite almost anything, but not the days you didn't live. So stop treating life like a rehearsal. The curtain's already open. You're already on stage. You don't have to be fearless, just curious enough to try. Say yes more often, Forgive faster. Call that person. Finish that story. Take that picture even if it's blurry. Because life is not about being ready. It's about being willing. Every day you wake up is a blank page. You decide whether it stays empty or gets written on. Even the smallest entry, a smile, a walk, a thought, is a declaration that you're still here. Existing is passive. Living is intentional. And somewhere between the two lies the story only you can tell. Maybe the goal was never to be happy all the time. Maybe it was to feel deeply, to laugh until you cry, to cry until you laugh again. To experience the full spectrum of being alive. Because even sorrow, when felt fully, becomes proof that you cared enough to be human. So write your story, messy, imperfect, loud, and tender. Leave fingerprints on every day. When someone asks what your life was about, you won't need to explain. Your laughter, your courage, your presence will already have answered for you. And when you look back years from now, you won't wonder if you did enough. Because you'll see the trail of choices, the tiny rebellions against fear, the simple, stubborn acts of love that made you, you. You'll smile, close your eyes, and realize there's nothing to regret. Because you truly, finally, lived.